Hey, what's up? I don't know. It's currently 12:24 today, on December 20 something, December 11th. Um, Yesterday was productive. I edited the large majority of those videos. They're all cut, but they most of them are exported from my end, um, and they should be done within the next day. Today, my main focus is the paper. I need to, I now am only responsible for, about half of the paper, which is great, but I'm still going to have to do the majority of the work, which is fine. And it's my fault that I didn't, lead the team better. It's my fault that I did all the work myself instead of, leading the team. But I tried to take some steps to, make sure that they knew what they were doing and motivate them a little bit. I think it's just a really difficult and hard thing to do, and I'm not going to get it right once. I'm going to get it right the 10th time or the 100th time, and that's something that you just kind of have to do. Anyway, I had an idea for a video that I think is going to get a lot of views. And the reason why is because it's so so I'm thinking about that binging with Babish video I made, right? And he, the way his strategy works, he takes aim at a huge audience that not only so the reason why I did Smosh last time is because Smosh just shut down, right? But that was bad press, I think, to go after, because nobody the people I don't think, number one, I don't think that I resonate with those people very hard. Like dropping a video that's like kind of like academic in nature, I guess, and about how to make comedy, right? That is not for the people that watch comedy, I think a lot of people that watch that comedy, and that is Smosh comedy. So that's kind of cringy comedy a little bit. So I don't know. Yeah. PewDiePie, though, I think I should make a video about that, because his brand is everything that I want to represent. I've realized that it's like, and it wasn't always that way, and that's what I want to talk about. And his audience really cares about that. Like, they care more about ideas and the discussion of ideas than they do about, like, sketch comedy that's made for children. like, So basically, the thing that I want to make a video on is this idea that, PewDiePie spent years and years and years and years and years making the cringiest fucking fake-ass reaction bullshit videos, where he would, I don't know, just cringe it up. It was just bad. It was just not good at all. And he would do that over and over and over again, and then he would send it to an editor, and the editor would make it into what built his brand from 0 to like 50 million or whatever the hell. And I want to make the video about how, he was playing a character, and he freely admits it, and it's so, like, maybe it's not brave, but it's like, he didn't have to do that. He was making money. He just was so unhappy that, like, that drove him to say, hey, this is all bullshit. This entire platform, everything that he made, people were watching him and saying, how can I do this for myself? And then that influenced them to make content that was so fucking cringy too. And I look at myself, like, that was what originally got me on this platform, was this like cringy, happy bullshit personality that, and people know that, like, people know inherently that the attitude of YouTube and the trending tab or not the trending tab, because the trending tab is still controlled by executives that, like, want this thing to be something that it's not, and the reason why I know that that's true is the 6 million dislikes on YouTube Rewind. But so, I think PewDiePie was like, hey, I'm living a lie. And then he made a video where he admitted that, and, he took a huge risk. And his risk was, saying, I don't want to play Happy Wheels anymore and pretend to have fun. Like, there are things on the planet that I care more about than that, and and in doing that, he changed the whole platform. He changed. I used to watch Tobuscus every day. People once PewDiePie began to make stuff that's like, hey, well, I mean, Tobuscus had a bunch of. Tobuscus took a lot of Molly and ecstasy, and he sexually assaulted a lot of girls. So, sorry, Toby, that's probably what led to the demise of your career. But PewDiePie, you know, uh, Felix. It's ridiculous to call a man PewDiePie. um, Felix lived a lie for so long, then was self-aware enough, or developed the self-awareness to say, hey, this is crazy. This is insane. Why am I doing this? And I really think that, like, the most self-aware people, from my own experience, the most self-aware people they're that way because of embarrassment. Because they took, I think there's a pendulum, right? I think over here, this is the cringy side of the pendulum, and I think over here is the self-awareness side of the pendulum. I think that people in the middle, they start in the middle because they're young and naive and they want to be popular. So that popularity causes them to say, oh, you know what, I can be popular if I just did this. And they go over here and they do mega cringe. Toby Turner is over here. Mega cringe. They go out and they put on silly costumes and they have seizures on the floor of Starbucks as everybody looks at them and is like, what the fuck is going on? And it's like, okay, that's not good. And then they get destroyed. They get destroyed by YouTube comments. And people will argue, like, well, the keyboard inspires you to say things that you wouldn't say in real life. And it's like, well, that's not that bad of an idea. Like, people wouldn't say it in real life because it takes courage to say, courage that they don't have. Okay. That doesn't mean that they didn't think those things. That doesn't mean that they didn't think those thoughts, right? And so it's probably beneficial for people to freely communicate back and forth, right? If we break down these walls of, well, it's rude to say that. Well, it's like, no. Instead, YouTube gives them a platform to say, here's what I really think. Like, here is explicitly what I think. You suck, and here is why. I would be embarrassed if I were you. And these people, PewDiePie's gotten so many comments like that. So many comments. And in his head, he has to go, well, I didn't, he has to rationalize and say, well, they're wrong, or they're stupid, or they, these are nice people, but they, and it's like, you're never going to win that battle, because deep down, whenever you hear criticism that's correct, it's correct. It. And the idea that, like, I don't know. And so you internalize that, and then he felt like he was playing this character, putting on this show of, like, I'm PewDiePie, I'm happy, go lucky, and then he turns off the camera and he's in a bad mood. It's like, yeah, because you're being a fake motherfucker. Like, and so everybody saw that, and, like, they built this entire platform to be that, and it has changed an entire generation of kids. It changed me to say, this is what I want. I'm gonna go do something cringy and bad and stupid and make a whole spectacle of it. And then it changed. It fundamentally shifted when PewDiePie was like, you know what? This is crazy. It's immoral and ludicrous and ridiculous to hop on the internet, put a camera on yourself, play something ridiculous, and then freak out so that millions of kids will watch you, and so that you can gain, like, this, like, fake cheesy brand money, you know, this money through fake, disingenuine bullshit. And he figured that out. He was the first to say that because he was living the biggest lie of everyone, and when he spoke up, his voice mattered, I think at that point he had 30 or 50 million people who loved watching his cringy shit. And he was like, you know what, I'm going to take a risk here. If I make stuff that is important to me, that I think is valuable, maybe that's better than making stuff that I hate. And then he put out things like bitch lasagna, and he has this whole national movement and an international movement to make him the most subscribed person on this platform. It's like, you don't get that unless like you are really fully behind what you do. And he could have gone the way of Toby Turner, who never grew as a human being, whose content went down the fucking tubes. But instead, he was like, no, here's me. And I think that is so fucking valuable. It's like, this should not be fake. You shouldn't have to trick people. Like, that's so big. You shouldn't have to trick people. If you do something cool or fun, people will like that. So go do something cool or fun. You don't have to learn how to be funny or like write, all the silly bullshit. It doesn't matter if you just go do something genuine or fun or cool or like insightful. That's gonna work better than I played up this fake thing. And that change is important to our culture. It's important for my brain. That's important because like that's what people like H3, that's how his career was built. Internet comment etiquette. That guy's a little crazy, but I mean that's how his career was built. Like, I think even Jordan Peterson, like, I think the reason why we have all this SJW movement is because people like have adopted that skewed way of looking at the world, and PewDiePie is pushing back against that. He's saying, hey, I'm gonna stop this. Like, I don't know. That's amazing. That's amazing. And I think it has a lot of far-reaching impact. So, yeah. I don't know. Today I'm gonna finish this essay. And the first paragraph is about demographics. So I'm going to look at the Mintel report. I probably am going to find the top 2 demographics and then make a marketing to Mintel, and then I include that as a Mintel report. So that'll be done. Then I'm going to look up exactly what a psychographic is and make up a psychographic for that person. Then in part 5, I think is my next part, I'm going to clearly address the problems with the system and evidence for each one of those problems. And after we've used all these academic sources, then I think that I can use YouTube videos as evidence. And then once I do that, I'm going to say propose solutions and how to market this. And then I'm going to write a conclusion summary based on my parts. And that's what I'm going to do today. It's probably going to take an hour or 2 hours. And then I'm going to be done. And then I'm going to relax for a little bit and maybe send a message to that other job so that I can say, hey, most of your shit's done. It's coming. The rest should be done by Friday or, by tomorrow. And that's what the plan is. Okay. This is going out. If anybody watches this other than me, post a comment about what you think about that PewDiePie video, because I really do think that video would get a lot of views. I think that he is responsible for this giant shift of culture. That's why we have Danny Duncan. That's why we have H3. That's why we have all of these people less focused on fake, cringy bullshit and more focused on being genuine and finding things that are genuinely funny. And that is extremely valuable because it will shape a generation of people, and it already is. Okay.